Hey everyone, my name is Chloe, and today I'm here to talk about July anticipated releases. So lately I have been just really diving down rabbit holes of new releases, and I don't know why. I did it in June and had a huge video that had to be split into two, and I did it again in July. So we're going to be talking about almost 150 books today, so let's just get started. I'm going to try to keep it somewhat brief, just so we're not here for hours and hours, but there are so many good things coming out. Summer is the worst and the best because there's so many things that come out. So grab your Goodreads, grab a drink. We might be here a while. So let's just start with the dates as always. So books typically come out on Tuesdays. However, some of these are like indie pubs or like bookish or whatever the publisher is that kind of does their own thing. So these dates are a little bit all over the board. Of course, our Tuesdays are going to be heavy hitters. So let's just get into it. So on July 1st, we have The Perfect Nurse by Daniel Hurst. So this is about a nurse who did something terrible, and because of it, a patient died. I don't know if she like directly killed the patient or just let them die. And now somebody seems to know her secret. So, who knows? Then we have In the Blink of an Eye by Kate Hewitt. So Kate Hewitt wrote A Mother's Goodbye, I think. And this was a book, like A Mother's Goodbye got me. It was so good. I read it physically, and yeah, it was just so much. Like it was a lot. But so good. So good. And so this one is about a gal, her and her family moved to a new town, and her son is going to a birthday party, and it's his first like birthday party outing since they've been in this new town. And then she sees ambulances and stuff going to the house. And so she pulls up, and another mother says, your son did this. This is your fault. And there's a little girl going on a stretcher. So what the heck happened? And I don't know. Then we have July's Dreams by Stephanie Erickson. So this is a part of the Calendar Girl series, which I had never heard of, but apparently they're clean rom-coms. And this is about a girl named July 4th, F-O-R-T-H. And I don't even know. It's about an inn. Like she owns an inn that makes people's dreams come true. But this one guy, he gets broken up with in the lobby. And so she's like, I think it's the romance between him and her. But like I said, clean rom-com is how it's advertised. And I am really excited to find something that I trust is clean. If it's kitschy and like a little cheesy, I would expect that. But presumably there's going to be 12 of them. I don't know. Next is Keeper of Lost Loves by Iris Applewood. So it says a sweet, low-spice, small-town Christmas romance with a sprinkle of mystery and a dash of magic. So this is about a gal who, she's pretty, like, cynical of love and soulmates and all that kind of situation. She has to fix up the town curmudgeon. And she's an inn owner, and I think somehow, like, it was a kiss under the mistletoe, like, does something magical. Sounds sweet, like a good Christmas in July book. So there's that. Now we have July 2nd. And so this is going to be a bigger day. So we've got The Summer of Yes by Courtney Walsh. So Courtney Walsh has written Christian fiction, and I think, I don't know if she's solely Christian fiction or just clean fiction. I think she's clean fiction. But this is about a near-death experience. It says that catapults a workaholic junior editor into changing her life one yes at a time. So this gal wants to be a writer, but she's just kind of been a junior editor because of circumstances. She's a workaholic, really trying to get her thing. And then she decides to say yes to everything. And I think she goes on like a journey with her best friend, and they're both living a year or whatever of yes. Then we have Meet Me at the Starlight by Rachel Hauck, another primarily Christian fiction author, but mostly just clean fiction. This is about an 80s supermodel and a Hollywood bad boy actor that get together because he's in town. I can't remember why she's in town, but he's in town to help his grandmother fix up her skating rink called the Starlight. And so they are trying to save the skating rink. I think you probably get the past timeline of like when she was developing this skating rink. I don't really know, but we'll see. Then we have Like It Never Was by Faith Gardner. So this is about a girl who 10 years ago, she almost killed her best friend. I don't know how. It was some sort of accident. I don't think she intentionally almost killed her. But then they parted ways, and nobody knows. According to her, she doesn't think anybody knows. She's the only one that knows this almost happened. Well, they part ways, and she has been trying to kind of run from the guilt, moving all the time, all that kind of stuff. And then her and her friend, her best friend, who are 10 years estranged, now come back together, and we don't know. Does the friend know? Does she not? Is she out for revenge? Is she not? I don't know. Then we have The Haters by Robyn Harding. So Robyn Harding, I feel like, is a kind of divisive thriller author. And like sometimes they're more like dramas than thrillers. But this one is, it says fate, obsession, and the dark recesses of social media. So this is about an author who gets a disturbing message from an unknown sender and whatever, then also stumbles upon a kind of scathing 1-star review. So a little bit of like the Taylor Adams book and all that kind of stuff, but gets a scathing 1-star review. And she doesn't know, are these the same person? There's harassment going on. She's not sure if she's safe. There we go. Then we have Fun Fact I Love You by Gina Lynn Larsen. So this sounds so cute. I think this is a YA. It's a YA friends to lovers romance with childhood best friends. So this girl, the main girl, is a senior in high school and has never been kissed, and she's fine with that. But then she gets the opportunity to kiss her crush, and it just doesn't go well. It doesn't go well, and she's humiliated. It's awful. And then I think her best friend, like her childhood best friend, is kind of there to stand up for, or like step in and help her through it. And I think there's also like some family tragedy for her that occurs, so there's a little more depth than just kind of the surface level stuff, but just sounds so cute. Then we have Resorting to Romance by Jennifer Shirk. So this is about a woman who's just having a hard time. Her fiance has left her and stolen her promotion, and so she wants to go like lick her wounds in her family's North Carolina beach resort. And she gets there and sees that it's up for sale, and so she's like, what the heck? And so her and her sisters team together to try to save the resort, and I think they're like battling the developer, and I'm sure it's going to be a romance, but sounds cute. Then we have Shaped by God's Promises by Shannon Popkin. So this is a 6-week Bible study. And it says lessons from Sarah on fear and faith. And I heard one time, I can't remember where it was or what it was, but that fear and faith you cannot feel fear and faith at the exact same time. Either you're fearful or you're faithful. And I always think about that because as an anxiety sufferer, there's a lot of things that I'm fearful of. And a lot of times I worry and worry and worry. And it's like, okay, can I experience this and faith? Not really, honestly, not really, because either I'm saying I have control or he has control. And I feel like this book's going to be really helpful for me. Next is the DM Diaries by Teagan Hunter. So this, like, I don't know, only in today's day and age does this make sense, because like DM, I was like, what does that mean? Like diagnostic manual? I'm showing my age, my goodness. But anyway, it's about this plus size influencer named Olive who starts sending messages to this like famous actor and not expecting that he's going to reply or anything, but I think talking about her life and everything. And then he does reply. However, it's his little brother who is managing his social media accounts. So it's not actually the star, but I think she knows. I hope there's not too much catfishing going on here, but it sounds cute to me. Then we have Not About a Boy by Myah Hollis. So I don't really know what to expect from this one. I'm expecting a darker tone, but this is a YA about a girl who's 17 and she's trying to put her grief-stricken past behind her and get adopted before she ages out of the system. But then her long lost comes back into the picture and kind of makes her question everything. And based on the pictures and that, like the cover, and I am assuming the tone is kind of heavy and dark, but I don't really know. We'll see. Then we have Big in Sweden by Sally Franson. So this is going to be a fun one. It says a laugh out loud romantic comedy about an American woman competing in a Swedish reality show in an attempt to discover her roots. So I don't know. I read something about like a pickle eating contest and all these crazy hijinks and shenanigans that go on. But I like the reality show element in books occasionally. I don't like a ton of it, but I don't know. I like have this secret desire to live in Sweden someday, although I really don't think I could handle the cold. But I want to anyway. Next is The Love of My Afterlife by Kirsty Greenwood. So this is about, I think it's going to be a funny one, about a woman who dies because she chokes on a hamburger. And so she's in like some sort of limbo, I guess, and starts this conversation with this dreamy dude, and then he gets called back to Earth. And so she's like, what the heck? And she gets this deal that she can go back to Earth too if she does something. I don't know what it is. So she decides to follow him and go back to Earth. And I don't know, like I think they live in New York and there's some magic, some kind of, I don't know. I don't think it's as straightforward as it seems. Then we have Just Playing House by Farah Heron. This is about, it says, a forced proximity celebrity romance about a woman who she's going to have surgery because she has discovered that she has the breast cancer gene. So I think she's going to undergo like an elective mastectomy or something. And then an actor who's kind of struggling and with image and that kind of thing. So they strike up a deal that she will style him for his events and things if he takes care of her after her surgery. And I just love the caretaking trope. I love it so much. And especially just because as a mother and as a woman in my household, I'm very much the caretaker of everything. And to see my husband do that is such a role reversal that it's like, wow, that's really great. You know, just because it's very natural to me and it's not the same way to him. And so I love reading about that and seeing like another side of men that we don't always see. Now, again, that's a blanket statement. That's not true of every man. I'm just saying the dynamics in our house, it's kind of a shift for me. Then we have The Same Bright Stars by Ethan Joella. I'm probably butchering that last name. But this is about maybe North Carolina. I don't know. Does it say? I don't think it says. But about a beachfront restaurant that has been run by the family for 3 generations. And now our main character is Jack, Justin, some J name. And he's running it. And he has no social life, no hobbies, all that kind of stuff because the restaurant is so all consuming. And so he gets the opportunity to sell out. And does he not? Can he protect his family legacy? Sounds interesting. Next is On the Bright Side by Anna Sortino. So this is a YA about a girl whose deaf school gets closed. And so she has to go back to live with her hearing family, go back to a mainstream school, all that kind of stuff. And of course, it's hard for her. There's some not nice kids. There's just a lot of learning curves. And then there's also a boy who is a soccer player and he's experiencing some numbness in his legs and things like that. And so I think he has a health condition that he discovers, and the two kind of find friendship in that, and diversity, and just finding solace in each other. And so sounds super cute. Then we have What's in a Kiss by Lauren Kate. So you guys know this is a trope that I love. This is where a girl gets a chance to explore a what might have been. So many years, 10 years ago, I don't know how many years, so many years ago, this woman had a prom date that was just awful. Like he was her rival of some sort, and it's about the prom kiss that never was. And so they were dates and he humiliated her. Now he's super successful, she's not, and they are both in a wedding of a mutual friend. And when their eyes lock, they're transported back to 10 years to prom to see what might have been if things would have been different. So I love that trope. Sounds really interesting. Then we have Breaking the Dark by Lisa Jewell. So I don't know if I'm going to like this one because it says it's a start of a Marvel crime series for adults, but it's with like a whole new plot line. Like there's none of the Marvel plot lines, and it's about a female detective. So I'm interested. Like I said, I'm not a Marvel girly, but my husband is, and maybe I think like Lisa Jewell doing something like that sounds really interesting to me. So I'm intrigued. Then we have The Undermining of Twyla and Frank by Megan Bannon. So this, I think, is the number 2 in a series, but I think they're standalones. Please correct me if I'm wrong. And honestly, the tagline is When Harry Met Sally, but with dragons. And I'm so intrigued. I am not into the romantasy thing, really. I like Divine Rivals, and like I've liked some of them, but I just really struggle to wrap my brain around fantasy. And so I feel like this, like When Harry Met Sally, is one of my favorites, and so this might be the introduction I need that can kind of like shoo me in gently. So I don't know. If you know anything about this series, let me know. Next we have July 4th. So we have A Song of Courage by Rachel Wesson. So this is about it's based on a true story about 2 unsung heroes, female heroes from World War II. So they are musicians. It's a musician and her sister, I think, who go under the guise of being these elite musicians or whatever to help Jewish people in Germany and Austria. I think right before the war, maybe the beginning of the war. They first start like giving them goods and things, and then start like helping them escape to England. And I don't know what happened, but I am really intrigued. And these like based on true stories books, they're just so fascinating and so harrowing and so heavy. Like I just read one that I like then needed to read some middle grade and just take a cozy break because they're so heavy but so impactful. Then we have Old Girls on Deck by Maddie Please. Now, say that title without smiling. Old Girls on Deck. So this is about a 63-year-old woman who wins like a Mediterranean cruise. And her husband's like, honestly, I'd rather stay here and work on stuff or whatever. And so she's like, all right. So she takes her sister and the two just have a good time on deck of a cruise. They have cocktails, happy hour, all that kind of stuff. It sounds so freaking cute. I really can't wait to read it. Next is Love at First Sight by Jessica Gilmore. So this is about a girl meets guy, and they start an instant thing, and he asks her to come to his family house in Sicily. So she's like, sure, I'll go to Sicily. So she goes, and then he gets called away on work, and so she's in the house with his family and starts to have a thing with his brother. Now, I don't think this, like, it doesn't say anything about being steamy or open door, like anything like that. So I'm hoping it's like good, but it sounds interesting. And a summer set in Sicily, sign me up. Then we have July 5th. It started with a book by Camilla Isley, maybe? Isley, I don't know. But this one is so, like, I feel like all readers can relate to this one. So this is about a girl who's, like, content with the romance story she reads. She doesn't have a partner or anything like that. And she reads this book. It's, like, the first in a series in a small town or whatever. So every night she gets to go to this small town. You know, she gets to open her book and she's in this small town. She goes to sleep one night, and then the next morning wakes up and the hero is in her house. I don't know if it's in her bed, in her whatever, but in her house. And so they have to navigate the real world and getting to know the character outside of the book, and it sounds so cute. Then we have The Man I Can't Forgive by Noelle Harrison. So this is about a woman who, her husband dies and it's ruled suicide, but she knows that's not true. Her daughter says, like, no, that's not true. Well, what we don't know is that he had or what she does know, but I don't think her daughter does, is that he had like a mistress or something, I think a woman he was fighting with on the day he died. And as she starts to investigate things, she finds out her daughter knows more than she's letting on. So who killed this guy? Was it the mistress? Was it the daughter? Who knows? Then we have Two Mothers by Catherine Croft. So this one is something that some of you are going to be like, automatically no. It's about two best friends, and one of their daughters was killed. Young daughters, like I think toddler, baby, something like that. And one of them was killed. The other one then goes missing. And so, of course, the best friend is right there. The best friend with the dead daughter is right there comforting her and said, you'll get her back. You'll get her back. And then she does. 2 days later, she gets her daughter back. And then the friend goes missing. So is the friend suffering some guilt because some of the baby's stuff is found in the friend's house? So did the friend take the kid and then disappear? Is somebody trying to set her up? What's going on? Don't know. Next is The Lucky Widow by Samantha Brandt. So this is about a woman who she has fantasized about killing her husband and told people about that. Her husband's a cheater. You know, their marriage just wasn't great, but it seemed great. And so then, like from the outside. And so then when he is actually wound up dead, is she going to be convicted? Don't know. Then we have July 7th, You Are Not Alone by Leah Cups. So this says that they thought they were alone on the island. They were wrong. So it's about a couple that goes to a Montana island, which is interesting. You don't think about that, but I guess it's a lake island. I don't really know. But a storm knocks out the power, and then she finds the diary of somebody who has gone missing from that island. And was she killed? I don't know. I don't know if we know. And she's wondering, is history going to repeat itself? What's going on? The cover of this book looks super creepy, so we'll see. Then we have July 8th, A Love Letter to Paris by Rebecca Raisin. So this is about a woman who sets people up kind of under the guise of being the Paris Cupid. Now, I don't think people like know who she is or whatever until she sets up the most eligible bachelor. And she likes the quiet life, doesn't really want the notoriety or whatever. But then somebody sends her a love letter, and she's trying to figure out who it is. So that just sounds so cute. Again, why I'm trying to armchair travel to Europe this summer, and I need to, so this book's going to help. Okay, sorry if things have changed a little bit. I had to take a lunch break. So now we have July 9th. So we have The Summer Pact by Emily Giffin. I don't really care what this is about because I have read, I think, every Emily Giffin book. But this one is about four friends who meet their freshman year in college. And then at the end of college, they make a pact. After like a tragedy strikes their friend group or something, they make a pact to meet up in 10 years. I think. And so then it's 10 years later. I can't remember if it's every year or 10 years. I don't know. But these friends are meeting back up, and it says, when things fall apart, who will be there to pick up the pieces? I love that. I love that idea. I love old friends reuniting. So sounds like something I will really enjoy. Then we have The Unraveling by Vi Keeland. So this is about a psychiatrist who becomes obsessed with a man. So she's got this like connection to this man, probably through a tragedy or something. He walks in to be one of her clients, and she becomes a little too invested. Then we have The Family Experiment by John Mars. And you guys, I have found 3 or 4 different release dates for this. So Amazon and Goodreads say July 9th. So I think that's what it is. But this is, John Mars, like, blows my mind every time. And this is in the same world as The One and the Marriage Act. And this is about, like, population control has become an even bigger issue. And so people now, instead of having babies, they're given the option of having like virtual babies that they can raise through like a VR headset and all that kind of stuff. And so there is a reality show that follows 10 couples or 10 people, I don't know if it's couples or people, that are raising a virtual baby from 0 to 18 in a condensed 9-month period. And the winners, I don't know, they either get to keep their baby or have a real baby. I'm not really sure, but like the whole idea, like all of his books seem just beyond our future. Like The One was so good, and it seems like something that could happen like maybe in my lifetime. And this also seems like it could happen in my lifetime. So we'll see. Then we have This Used to Be Us by Renee Carlino. Again, I don't need to know anymore, but this is about a couple who is getting divorced. And instead of like moving to their own places or one of them keeping the house and whatever, they decide to leave the kids in the house and they will move in and out. So they will also have an apartment that whoever's not parenting at the time will live in the apartment. Whoever's parenting will live in the house with the kids. Now, of course, they've been together 20 years or whatever, so some time apart, they start missing each other despite the fact that they're dating other people, la-da-da-da-da. I'm guessing it's going to be like figuring out what they're grateful for and that they're grateful for each other and all that kind of stuff. Then we have Finding You by Amy Clipston. So this is a romance, I guess, about this girl who finds like her husband or her fiance or something has died, and she's trying to pick up the pieces from that. And then a guy who is like he's got a second chance on life after like a liver transplant or something. They run into each other because her car breaks down. He helps her, and they find out they're connected through the transplant. Next, we have Sunrise Nights by Jeff Zentner and Brittany Cavallaro. So this is about, it's a YA book written in verse about 2 young artists who are they meet at art camp, and they have 3 nights, I think, to get to know each other. And so like he's a photographer, and I think she's a dancer who is losing her sight, and it's making her lose her balance, which then obviously threatens her dancing career. And they make a deal to spend 3 evenings together and then not speak for a year after camp. Don't know why. I mean, maybe this is just like a crazy teenage thing, but sounds interesting for sure. Then we have Invisible Isabel by Sally J. Pla. This is a middle grade book about an introverted girl who just doesn't know how to speak up. She's a worrywart, and she doesn't know how to ask for help. She gets bullied at school. She's one of 6 kids at home, so she just feels lost and invisible and doesn't know how to ask for help with like the worries that she has. And so yeah, sounds like something I don't know that I've really got any introverts in my house, but maybe. Then we have Jenny James Is Not a Disaster by Debbie Johnson. So this is sounds like a funny women's fiction about this woman. It says, sometimes it takes life falling apart to piece yourself back together. So it's about a single mom who's having a really hard time in a lot of ways, and then her house literally falls off a cliff. And so she doesn't have a home. She's got like a 18-year-old son. And they decide to go on this like camper van trip with their neighbor, and it's a road trip story all over the UK, and it just sounds really fun and quirky, and they have to do fun things. And I think this story is more about the mother and son. It's not a romance. So yeah, I really like women's fiction. Then we have Humor Me by Kat Shook. So this one, it says, a love letter to the New York City stand-up scene as told by an assistant on a late-night talk show. So there's this girl who is a late-night talk show assistant, and different people come in and out of her life through the comedy scene. And this says it's a book that reminds us that friendship can emerge from where you least expect it, and shared laughter can heal the deepest pain. Because I know she's lost her mom and she's lost some other stuff, so I don't know, sounds like something I've never read before. Then we have Grown Women by Sarai Johnson. So this is a debut about 4 different generations of Black women, and it says contending with motherhood, daughterhood, generational trauma, and deep tensions that divide them as they redefine happiness and healing for themselves. I love family sagas. I love female-driven stories. This sounds like something I would really enjoy. I'm a little nervous that it's going to be a little more literary than I typically enjoy, but we'll see. Then we have Hearts Overboard by Becky Dean. This says it's a banter-filled rivals to lovers between a STEM-loving girl and a jock boy that will fill you with wanderlust and have you rooting for love in the great outdoors. So this is about a girl whose ex-boyfriend called her boring and stuck in her ways and stuff. So she decides to go on a cruise with her mom's, an Alaskan cruise with her mom's work. And she is trying to prove she's fun by doing one new thing a day. So I don't know, it sounds fun. Then also there's like a family friend who was a rival that is on the trip too. So it's going to be their romance, cutesy. Then we have Lady Killer by Catherine Wood. So this is about an heiress that goes missing, and her best friend is trying to figure it out by using clues that she left in her manuscript. So basically these girls became like bonded at 18 years old when they both experienced a tragedy in Greece together. And now it's 10 years later, 12 years later, something, they're like 30. And the one who is the heiress still lives in Greece. She wrote a manuscript about whatever tragedy happened when they were 18. And she invites the other one to go on vacation with her. Well, she never shows up. And so then our character goes to Greece looking for her, and her house is abandoned. Everything is gone except for a manuscript that talks about kind of the dark side of her life and what maybe happened. Then we have More Please on Food, Fat, Binging, Longing, and the Lust for Enough by Emma Spector. Now, I think this is going to be interesting because this is written by a writer for Vogue, and she is writing just all about, it says, about always wanting more than what you'll allow yourself to have. And I think she's talking about food and things, but also just like about other things. I don't really know. I just love, it says her fans of like Jennifer Weiner and stuff, and I really love that writing style, and I love hearing different perspectives, and sounds great to me. Then we have It's Elementary by Elise Bryant. So this says it's a fast-paced, delightful new mystery about what happens when parents get too involved in their kids' school. So our main character, Mavis, I think is her name, she doesn't want to be on the PTA. She's like got multiple generations living in her house. She's got her hands full, but she kind of gets roped into it by the PTA president. And then one night, like the PTA president gets really upset by something the principal did. And then she sees the PTA president with booties, gloves, all the things, putting it in her van. And then the principal doesn't show up. So what happened to the principal? Then we have Until Next Summer by Allie Brady. So this is about two former best friends each find love in an adults-only summer camp in this romantic and nostalgic novel that proves once a camp person, always a camp person. I was not a camp person. I went to one Young Life camp and really enjoyed it, but that was like kind of glamping. So I'm a glamp person. But anyway, this is about a camp that's about to close. And so old campers and old friends go back, and they're going to have one last summer, but then realize, do they need the camp to still be friends? No. Then we have The Sirens of Soleil City by Sarah C. Johns. So this one, the blurb is three generations of women learning their own mistakes and rebuilding their bonds as they prepare to compete in the Senior Synchronized Swimming Competition in South Florida. The Senior Synchronized Swimming Competition in South Florida. Perfect. I can't wait. Then we have The Art of Pretend by Lauren Cole. This is a debut about a girl, like I don't think it's a thriller. I think it's just like a drama about a girl who gets pulled into her best friend's wealthy artist family, and her best friend's name is Etta, which is one of my daughter's names, and so I love that. But then her best friend Etta has to go somewhere else, move somewhere else, and she starts a secret romance with her brother. So like I said, I don't think it's a thriller. I think it's more of just a family drama. Then we have Take Me Home by Melanie Sweeney. So this is about a girl that reluctantly has to go back to her hometown for her father's wedding, and a guy from her hometown that also has to go back, but his car broke down. Now, the two currently have like kind of a bantery relationship because he owns or works at the coffee shop she goes to, and they, you know, whatever. So they agree to go on a road trip back home together, but it says the rules are no bad music, no detours, and no falling in love. So I think this is a Grumpy Sunshine where she's the grump, he's the sunshine. So I like reading about that. Then we have Bad Tourist by Caro Carver. This says 3 tight-knit friends embark on an extravagant divorce trip to the Maldives where they can unwind and celebrate a new chapter in midlife until they realize the resort of their dreams is harboring a killer. So it's about 3 women who have recently been divorced going on this vacation and being in a trapped place with a killer. Then we have The Day He Never Came Home by Andrew DeYoung. So this is about an FBI agent coming to a woman's door and saying like, hey, your husband's running a Ponzi scheme. He's not who you think he is. He's got multiple identities, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Well, he had just bought her this lake house and stuff, and she's like, I don't really want to give that up. So she starts keeping secrets and kind of implicating herself. And so she becomes a suspect, and she realizes she can do more than she thought she could. Then we have Honeycomb by S.B. Caves. So this one, it says 7 days, 6 strangers, 1 experimental drug. So it's about this reality star who is like now washed up, not really doing anything with her life. So she goes on this show where 5 of them are given a placebo. 1 of them is given an experimental drug that is said to have no side effects, but bad things start happening. So who's getting the drug? Who's just going crazy? Don't know. Then we have The Danish Secret to Happy Kids by Helen Russell. And it says how the Viking way of raising children makes them happier, healthier, and more independent. Who doesn't want happier, healthier, more independent kids? Sign me up. Then we have All This and More by Peng Shepherd. So I think this author has written a few things that I have felt like are a little too sci-fi or a little too literary for me, but this one sounds interesting. So tell me if you've read anything by this author, but it's about a 45-year-old woman who gets to go on a show where somehow she can revise her past to change her present. So I love that trope, so I think I'm interested. Then we have The Spell Shop by Sarah Beth Durst. So this says it's a cottagecore cozy fantasy following a woman's unexpected journey through the low-stakes market of illegal spell selling and the high-risk business of starting over. So this is another one of those like cozy fantasies that I'm not into, but I want to be into, and this one feels approachable. It says for fans of TJ Klune, who I've read some of and feel like his writing is very approachable, and Travis Baldry, who wrote Love and Lattes? Is that what it is? I don't know, but I didn't read that one. But all of that feels approachable, so if I can like dip my toe into fantasy in a way that feels comfortable, I will. So let me know what you think of that one. On July 10th, we have The Near Miss by Lily Joseph. So this says Nick and Ren are meant to be, but Nick and Ren have never met. And now fate is about to change everything. Could true love be just a catastrophe away? So they almost meet multiple times, and then I think they do meet like in Italy, and then they realize how intertwined their lives are. And it says The Near Miss is totally perfect, completely addictive, feel-good romantic comedy of chance encounters and second chances that will have fans of Beth O'Leary, Vari McFarlane, and Abby Jimenez hooked from start to finish. I've liked all those authors, and it sounds like an interesting thing. I really like to think about like again, with this like road not traveled trope that I love, which is not this book, but I love to know like where free will and where God's will and all the things that are like destined to happen, where they're going to happen anyway. And so this sounds like it's going to play with that. So can't wait to read. Okay, this is going to be a full day of filming because I had to put my kids down for a nap. But now we have July 11th. So it's All Sun and Games by Portia McIntosh. So this is about, it's a friends to lovers, only one bed, and fake dating romance about a girl who goes to Italy for work for a week. And she's trying to win over her work crush and like get his attention away from another gal. But she also sees her, like, is going to meet up with her childhood pen pal who just happens to live in that Italian town. So that sounds fun. Sounds multidimensional. Sounds interesting. Then we have The Summer Dare by Joanna Dodd. This is a thriller about when they were teenagers, this girl did something to a summer dare to win the approval of the cool girls that were a couple years older, whatever. So she does something to win their approval. Now it's 25 years later, I think is what it said. And she's still friends with the cool girls, except for one, who they all act like never existed. And then she gets a text that says, "Why didn't you tell them where I was?" And the past comes back up. So I don't know what happened. I'm guessing they did something sinister to this one girl, and now she's back for revenge. Then we have Liv is Not a Loser by Lauren Ford. So this is about a girl who just realized she never really commits to anything. Job, men, whatever. She just doesn't commit. And so she is like, am I a loser? And so she takes like her brother and her longtime childhood best friend and tries to go on a mission to date the same guy 3 times. Go on 3 dates with one person. And bad date after bad date, her best guy friend is there for her every time to kind of pick up the pieces. So she's like, is he the one? Has this been right under my nose the whole time? And it says it's a laugh out loud comedy with a cinnamon roll hero. I love cinnamon roll heroes. Then we have The Photo by A.J. McDine. So this is about a woman whose sister was killed 10 years ago and left her daughter, she had a 5-year-old at the time. So now she is responsible for her now probably 15-year-old niece. And she takes a photo one day and then sees in the background there's the guy who was married to her sister, who killed her sister, who she thought was dead. So what the heck? Then we have July 12th, The Missing Body by Carrie Wilkinson. It says, I ran to get help, but her body disappeared. Will anyone believe me? So this girl finds a dead body in the woods, goes to get help. The body's not there. She wants to know what the heck happened to this girl. Then we have Her Perfect Girl by Nikki Downs, another thriller about a missing girl that's found dead in the woods. The police think it is the first in a serial killer stretch of murders. And so girls continue to die. And these parents are struggling to keep their marriage together, also struggling to find out why was their daughter targeted. And what can we do to stop this from happening again? So sounds interesting. I always think it's really interesting to see the marriage dynamics after a child has been lost. I cannot fathom. But yeah, I think this one's going to be a little bit of that, a little bit of trying to stop the serial killer, all the things. Then we have Sleepwalker by M.A. Hunter. So this is about a man his wife is killed. He has the blood all over him, everything. So of course he's accused and he says he didn't do it. Well, his lawyer's using the defense that he's a sleepwalker. And the guy has no memory of that night. So he is a sleepwalker. Did he do it and he just doesn't remember? Or is somebody trying to frame him because they know that about him? Then we have The Cornish Beach Hut Cafe by Jane Linfoot. So this is about a woman who gets a Cornish beach hut from her family or something. And so she leaves the bustling streets of London to go there. And the catch is that she has to open some sort of business. So she opens an offshoot of her friend's, I think I'm going to look what it's called. Little Cornish Kitchen, and she loves it. But then the guy next to her that owns the hotel is wanting to buy the land out from under her. So the town kind of rallies together to save this little Cornish cafe, and I think it's going to be sweet. Then we have July 15th. We have Tiger, His Life as It's Never Been Told Before by James Patterson. So this is a biography of Tiger Woods and by James Patterson. So sounds really interesting to me. I have a friend who named their daughter Eileen after his wife, who they're now divorced, and she was a little infamous for a time. And I think the whole story is interesting, and I would love to see how James Patterson writes it. So there's that. And then The House Across the Street by Jill Childs. So this is about a woman who grows up, or she lives on this street. Across the street is the people, family friends that she grew up. They were kind of second parents to her, all of that. Then she sees something going on across the street one night. Somebody's there that's not supposed to be. And then the next day, the father is found dead. And so she's trying to figure out what happened. Well, she is trying to help the police, obviously, figure out what happened. And she's getting threatening notes, threatening her daughter. So she's torn between how much do I help to figure out what happened to this man that I love that's like a second dad, versus how much do I bow out because they're threatening my daughter. So really interesting predicament. Okay, so the way this is going to work is you guys are just going to see my outfits for the week and how this works, because we are just struggling to have time to sit and film for very long. So it's the next day, and we're going to talk about July 16th. So we have Once in a Lifetime by Claire McCauley. So I just read her debut, which is The Wedding Hitch, and that came out earlier in the summer, and it was super cute. And so this one is about an American girl who meets this British guy in a coffee shop, and they spend the whole day together, have this connection, all the things, and then she leaves with no number, no contact information or whatever. So now he's trying to find her because he wants to see her again. Then we have What Lies in Darkness by Christina McDonald. Now, this is number 2 in a series that follows a detective. I have not read the first, but I feel like with detective series, you can kind of read them out of order. You don't get as much about their personal life. Like, those connections aren't made if you don't read them in order, but this one is about a family car crash, and only the 16-year-old is found. The rest, the mom, dad, and sister, are missing. And so she's like investigating, and then a year later, the 16-year-old finds her sister's backpack with blood on it in their basement. And it comes to find out like the detective is somehow connected to the case. So I would like to go back and read the first, but we'll see if it happens. Then we have Faded by Sarah Reddy. This is also number 3 in a series, but I think they're standalones. I couldn't see any connection just through the synopses. But this is about this girl who runs her family's watch company. It's like a Swiss watch company, and it's all consuming. You know, she doesn't have time for anything else in her life. And so she gets this family heirloom that allows her to like dream her wildest dreams, and it dreams your greatest desires. So now she's like, every night she goes to sleep, she lives on this beach with a husband and 2 kids, and she really is like falling in love with her life, falling in love with her husband, all the things, and yet it's not real. So she's trying to reconcile that. Then we have Backtrack by Erin LaRosa. This sounds so cute. So this is about a woman who goes back to help her grandma pack up her house, and all the like early 2000s nostalgia from when she was young is still there, and her CD player still works. And so she has this mixtape from her best guy friend at the time, and every song takes her back to a memory from the early 2000s. However, it's not a memory as it actually happened. It's a memory as what could have been if she would have like gone for more with her best friend. So that sounds so cute, and like just for us 30-somethings sounds very applicable. Then we have Perfect Sister by Stephanie DeCarolis. This doesn't have a whole lot. The synopsis doesn't give you a whole lot, but it's about a woman searching for her sister on the beaches of the Hamptons. They meet up every year for a vacation. This year, I think sister doesn't show something. So there's a family that had last seen her sister, and so she's trying to figure out what the heck happened. And I think the family has a lot of secrets, a lot of wealth, maybe some sinister intentions, don't really know. Then we have Be Your Best Self by Maxine Mori. So this is about a woman who wishes for the one all the time. She moves back to the village she grew up in, and this grouchy guy moves in next to her. They don't agree on anything. He's a doctor, and she's like not into like traditional medicine, I think. I don't know. They just have very fundamental differences, and yet he may be the one. So I don't know. I kind of have a hard time getting behind those things where there's like huge fundamental value differences, but maybe this one can sell me on it. Then we have A Novel Summer by Jamie Brenner. So this says a best-selling author finds love and second chances in the stacks of a quaint beach town bookshop. So that plus the cover, I'm going to read it. Then we have Only One Survives by Hannah Mary McKinnon. This is about an all-girl band, and they all want fame and fortune, but to various degrees. Some of them don't really want it. Some really, really do. Then they get in a car wreck and in the Catskill Mountains, and one of them dies like from the car wreck, and then the rest of them start dying, and one of them goes missing. We don't know, like, was she trying to eliminate her competition? What is going on? I don't really know. Then we've got One Big Happy Family by Jamie Day. I have read The Block Party by Jamie Day, and I really like kind of the suburban drama. So this is about 3 sisters that own a hotel now that their dad has died. And so they go to the hotel just in time for like a hurricane to come. And so they're trapped in the hotel, all kind of wanting their piece of the pie, as well as like the housemaid, one of the chambermaid. She kind of wants a cut. People start dying. Again, kind of the same, out for their part. Then we have Crushed by Melanie Conklin. So this is a middle grade about a girl who just wants to be like homeschooled. She's introverted, doesn't want to be at middle school, but there she is. And her best friend has been gone for a long time. We don't know why. You know, maybe it's hinted at some sort of treatment or something like that. She's been gone for a long time, and now she's back, and she's different. And she is not being nice to our main character and all of that. And there's rumors that she's keeping a secret from the main character. So the main character is trying to figure out what's going on, as well as deal with her hurt feelings, changing friendships, all that kind of stuff. Then we have The Big Freeze, a reporter's personal journey into the world of egg freezing and the quest to control our fertility by Natalie Lampert. So I am fascinated by fertility, infertility, becoming parents in all the different ways. I don't know why. It's fascinating to me. So I really want to read this. Then we have Just One Taste by Lizzie Dent. So this says it's a woman about to spend 4 weeks in Italy with a gorgeous man that she does not like. Her dad was a celebrity chef, and her dad had a falling out. So this guy kind of stepped in as like stand-in son, and now her dad has died, and he wants them to work together to create a cookbook. And they also don't agree about what to do with her dad's restaurant. He wants to like try to save it because it's kind of failing. She wants to sell it. And so they're spending 4 weeks in Italy, tasting food, finding recipes, doing all the things. Sounds awesome. Then we have The Lost Story by Meg Schaefer. So I liked The Wishing Game quite a bit. This one is inspired by the Chronicles of Narnia. So 2 boys go missing in the forest and then reappear 6 months later with no explanation, no memory of what happened to them. And then one of them, 15 years later, one's an artist that still has no memory. One is a like missing person detective, and he gets asked to be a part of a case of a girl who went missing in the same forest that they did. So the 2 team back up to try to figure out what happened to this girl, kind of by figuring out what happened to them. Then we have The Keeper of Stars by Buck Turner. So this is 1962. A female professor of astronomy wants to kind of rewrite the stars. She gets a box with a novel in it from her first love, and she reads the story, and it's their story. It's their story of falling in love and the first love. And she kind of has regrets about the way it ended, so she goes back to the beach where it was and tries to rewrite history, I think. So we'll see. Okay, so now we have July 18th. We have I'm Her Mother by Lauren North. So this is about a 3-year-old girl who gets kidnapped. And her mother, of course, is like stressed out, really upset. But the woman who took her claims to be her mother as well. So who is the actual mother? I don't know. Then we have One Girl, One Summer by Isabel Ashdown. So this is about a private plane crashes and kills people both in the plane and on the ground. And on the ground, there's a single mother who has a teenage daughter who was supposed to be watching her little brother, but instead her little brother was hit by this plane and in the rubble or whatever. So the pilot of the plane decides to stick around town. So it's both the story of the pilot and why is he sticking around, and the sister and her guilt and the secrets she has about maybe what she was doing instead of watching the brother. I don't know, but it sounds like an interesting situation. Then we have Finding Love at Sunset Shore by Bella Osborne. So this is about a girl who overhears her father's dying wishes for her to fall in love. So she decides to make it happen, even if it's a fake dating situation. As with all fake dating, I'm sure it turns into more. It looks like a cute cover, so that's honestly why I'm interested. Then we have The Garden Party by B.P. Walter. So this is about an engagement party gone wrong when secrets come out, and it says the perfect family, the perfect celebration, the perfect day for revenge. Blah, blah, blah. Then we have July 19th, When the World Fell Silent by Donna Jones Alward. So this is 1917, Nova Scotia. We get the perspective of 2 different women. Of course, World War I is underway. And one woman becomes a lieutenant in the nursing corps, and another one has lost her husband in the war. And so her and her young daughter are living with her in-laws, and they treat her like the help. They don't treat her good. Then when tragedy strikes, they are brought together in some way, and their stories intertwine. Then we have July 20th, which this one has like multiple dates, but Amazon says you can have it, the Kindle edition, at least July 20th. So that's what we're going with. And it's Seatmates by Anna Harborn. This is about a woman who's headed home for her mother's wedding. She's dreading it. Then she gets on the plane, and it's the grouchy guy who cut her off in traffic. And so she's not happy. But then over the course of the flight, of course, they probably bond, and it turns into a romance. Sounds cute. I've always loved like travel romances because I just feel like traveling, like I traveled a lot as a young single person, and it was just always fun to see like a totally new adventure. So I think it's fun. I like this trope. I'm going to read it. Okay, guys, here we are. 3rd time's a charm. My kids are gone at gymnastics, so let's knock this out and finish talking about the July new releases. So we have July 23rd, The Best Lies by David Ellis. So this is about a lawyer who is a diagnosed pathological liar. Okay, so what? I mean, that automatically is like, okay. But he has skeletons in his family's closet, and a drug dealer is found dead, and his blood or handprints or something are all over the weapon. Now, the FBI wants him to help take down like the drug lord or whatever. And so he has to decide, does he help the FBI or does he go to jail? But in order to help the FBI, he has to team up with the one who got away. So it sounds really complex, really messy. I have not read David Ellis, but he's been on my list, so I want to try it. Then we have If You Tell a Lie by Lucinda Berry. So honestly, I like Lucinda Berry. I want to read more from her, so whatever. But this is about four friends who are sworn to secrecy over one fateful summer and the dark truths that threatened to erupt years later. So they met at a camp for gifted kids, and then I think like the tennis instructor was found dead or something, and so these four people obviously know something about it, made a pact to keep it quiet, and now it's years later and things are coming out. Then we have Boy Band's Ultimate Trivia Book by Carolee Hancock. Do I need to say anything more? Like, as a child of the early 2000s, a boy band trivia book, sign me up. Like, my walls were wallpapered Justin Timberlake. So I think I win. Then we have Nothing Less Than Magic by Stacey Finns. So this is a marriage counselor. Her husband leaves her, and she goes to their lake house, which is decked out for Halloween. So this is a Halloween read. It's decked out for Halloween, and the guy is fixing the roof there, and they have a thing, and she gets like involved in the town. I think it's a sweet romance, but like Halloween-y, and those are really hard to find. Not like creepy books, but just kind of fun, normal Halloween time books. So there's that. Then we have Heart and Souls by Lisa Schmidt. This is a middle grade about a sixth grader who named Styx, who gets bullied and just has a rough time, and then he gets befriended by a group of ghosts who have been stuck in middle school for like multiple decades, and so he needs to help them get out of middle school. Then we have Chaos at the Lazy Bones Bookshop, which is the Halloween Bookshop Mystery #1 by Emmeline Duncan. So this is the start of a new cozy mystery series about a Halloween bookshop. So again, I love reading holiday seasonal reads, and I feel like Halloween ones are really hard to find. So this is about, let's see, a girl who lives in a town in Oregon that's like a year-round Halloween town, and she takes over her grandpa's bookstore and discovers a lot of the town's secrets. Sounds cute. Then we have The Last Thing She Saw by Nina Lauren. So this is about a Quebec town that floods. It's like a small town somewhere in Quebec, floods, and this body is found, and everybody thinks they know that, like, it's unidentifiable. There you go. Is that a word? And they think it's this little girl who went missing in 1979. This book is like present day. They all think it was her. And our main character, she has like grown up hearing stories about this mysterious disappearance, and she even tried to start like a podcast about it, but it kind of failed. And so now with this body resurging, she kind of has like more material. So she thinks it's this girl and starts investigating, and maybe it's not actually that girl. And it's a small town, so there's lots of rumors. I think maybe there's some rumors of witchcraft. I don't really know, but sounds interesting. Then we have Slow Dance by Rainbow Rowell. I am so excited for this one. I have not loved Rainbow Rowell in general, but I did love Landline. And this one is a first love, second chance. So this is about two people who in high school, everybody thought they would be together forever. However, they were like, nope, we're just best friends. And so yeah, he went to the Navy after high school. She went to college. They lived their separate lives. She got married, had 2 kids, whatever. Now it's like 14 years since they've seen each other, and she's divorced, and they see each other back at a wedding, and it's their second chance. And I don't know. Yeah, it says 2 kids who fell in love before they knew enough about love to recognize it. 2 friends who lost everything, and 2 adults who just feel lost. Sounds so sweet. Like, I love the first love, second chance or friends to lovers because that connection's already there. Hopefully we'll get to see that, but we'll see. Then we have Asking for a Friend by Kara H.L. Chin. So this is a YA rom-com about a strong-willed, ambitious teen teaming up with her childhood frenemy to start a dating advice column. So she wants to win the Asian American in business competition. So she has to team up with this guy who is her childhood frenemy, and they write a dating advice column. Then we have Wagnificent, The Adventures of Thunder and Sage by Bethany Deanie Murgula. This is a middle grade graphic novel about a dog, her human, and their possum pack. So this is about a dog who wants to be good, but always has like impulses to jump and bark and stuff. And she discovers like, oh, I'm like a descendant of wolves. And so she like is trying to decide, does she want to be a house pet or does she want to be like an animal, a wolf wild animal? And I don't know, sounds like something my daughters will love. Then we have Bodega Cats, Picture Perfect by Hilda Eunice Burgos. So this is another start of a middle grade graphic novel series about a little boy who loves to draw, and his parents own a bodega, and he's like trying to juggle all sorts of things, helping in the bodega, being in art, being all these things, and he really just finds a companion in his cat, and it sounds so sweet. I think they're roaming the city together. I don't really know, but sounds cute. Then we have Grow Up, Lucy Zapata by Alexander. Well, I'll have a picture up because I don't want to butcher this, but this is a middle grade about two Colombian girls who have always been best friends, but things change as they enter into 6th grade. That transition time, I remember that transition time of it. Well, where I grew up, it was 7th grade that you go into middle school, but whatever. I remember that transition time and just how much friendships change and new ones that develop and going through that. And I love reading about that stage for some reason. I don't know. Like, I do wonder a lot, like, what my kids will go through as homeschool kids. And even though they're very actively involved, like, I wonder how they'll be. I don't know. Anyway. Then we have The Faculty Lounge by Jennifer Mathau. This is about an elderly substitute teacher that is found in the faculty lounge at a high school, and it's just the start of weird things going on in that high school. It says it's funny and big-hearted, and it just follows all the staff members of the school. So, again, as a former teacher, I love, like, school drama, just because there's always school drama, and I just think it's interesting. So there's that. Then we have July 25th, First Comes Marriage by Layla Rafi. This is a slow burn, grumpy sunshine about two people who are in an arranged marriage, and then they have to fall in love after the fact, which I think is just really interesting. I don't know that I've read a book about it, so there's that. Then we have July 26th, Last Night at Villa Lucia by Simon McLeave. So this is about a woman who she is divorced or separated from her husband. She's got a teen daughter, baby, I don't know, and then there's a body in the infinity pool in the morning. She remembers like fights and arguments the night before, but doesn't remember any details, and so what happened? I don't know. It says for fans of The Housemaid, Gone Girl, and TM Logan. So all of those are good buzzwords. Then July 27th, we have Feral Creatures of Suburbia. Like, do I need to say more? That one gets me. By D. Liebert. So this is 3 ordinary mothers, 2 terrible secrets, 1 heart-stopping crisis that'll change everything. And how far will they go to protect their kids? So good. Then July 29th, New Dreams for the Village Nurse by Tilly Tennant. So Tilly Tennant writes really cute European rom-coms, chick lit, call it what you will. This is about a young nurse, and she's a widow. She moves into a lake village, and things are great until she starts like kind of catching her boyfriend keeping secrets and getting a little like overly jealous about things, and she's kind of wondering what's going on. And it says it's a book about healing from past hurts and learning to find love again. So I hope it's going to be hopeful and great. Then we have We Were on a Break by Joe Lovett. Any Friends fans, I love that reference. This is about a guy that's stranded in Rome. And because like planes aren't flying because of volcanic ash. And so he gets a ride from a friend of a friend back to London. And when he goes to like meet up with the person, it's his ex. And so they have to ride from Rome to London together. And I had to like Google, is there, I guess you get like drive to the coast and then take a ferry? For any UK viewers, tell me, how do you drive to London? I don't know. But anyway, then we have July 30th, Memories of the Lost by Barbara O'Neill. So Barbara O'Neill wrote When We Were Mermaids, which is a book that it was really popular. I still have it on my shelves, have yet to read it. But this is about an artist who just lost her mom. And she starts to suffer from a series of like fugue states where she's getting all these memories that aren't even hers. And it was all triggered by like a certain painting. And so she goes in search of her mother's secrets and trying to figure out more about her mom. That's a trope I really like. Then we have Like Mother Like Daughter by Kimberly McCreight. So this book I feel like has had the most bouncy release dates. So the most recent one I can find is July 30th, but it is about a mother and daughter. The daughter's like a college student, grown, whatever, goes to her mom's for dinner, and her mom's not there, but her bloody shoe is under the couch. And that the synopsis is very vague, and it says both mother and daughter are trying to save each other before it's too late. So I don't know what's going on, but Kimberly McCreight is one of my favorite like drama thriller writers. So there we go. Then we have What Have You Done by Sherry LaPena. Again, Sherry LaPena, I reread almost anything she writes. So this is about a body that's found in a quiet, safe little town, and everyone becomes a suspect. Everyone gets really paranoid. I will read anything she writes. Then we have A Class Act by Julie Houston. So this is about a West End musical star, and her dreams are shattered, and so she has to go back to wherever she's from and live with her mom and her teenage sister, and she becomes the drama teacher at her sister's high school. And I grew up with a sister who is 9 years older than me, and that dynamic has been so interesting like throughout multiple stages of life. And I just think if that would have happened when I was in high school, what it would have been like, I would love to read it. Then we have In the Wind, The Disappearance of Janice Starr by Ron Peterson. So this is a true crime about a college student who went missing like without a trace. She left a diary, and the investigator is a female investigator that can kind of relate to some experiences she had through the diary of both like trying, the missing girl was a part of ROTC, and our investigator, both of them were trying to like succeed in a man's world. And there's evidence that she may have had an affair with her ROTC professor. And so she's trying to figure it out. But it's true crime. And I don't read enough of it because I'm a scaredy cat. But this one seems doable. Then we have Maria, a novel of Maria von Trapp by Michelle Morin. So this is just a dramatized story, life story of Maria von Trapp from Sound of Music. So sounds interesting. Then we have Between Friends and Lovers by Charlene. Oh, I'm going to just put up a picture. This is about a woman who's an influencer and a doctor. Kind of a weird combo. And she's not really happy with her life. She has a best friend who she has a crush on, but he's with somebody else. And then a debut novelist and she become friends because he is like unexpectedly kind of hit fame. And yet he's really bad with people. So she kind of helps him. And there we go. They're friends to lovers kind of thing. Then we've got 1 Year Ago in Spain by Evelyn Skye. So this one's really interesting. This is about a girl who meets a guy in Spain. They have this like whirlwind romance, decide to do the long distance thing. And then 1 year later, he's in a terrible accident and he's in a coma. Now she is the only one that can see his soul, and she can communicate with his soul and is trying to convince him to get back in his body. However, he has no memory of her. The soul has no memory of her. So I'm really cautious with how this is done, but sounds interesting enough. People Will Talk by Kieran Scott is the next one. This is about an impromptu wedding of a guy who has like 3 women that apparently 4 women that he's involved with. And so the bride takes the 3 women aside and he's like, hey, y'all are done. I'm marrying this dude tonight. And so one of the women is his girlfriend, who's like a tennis star that just won Wimbledon. One is like his high school girlfriend or something. And then the other is like his son's aunt and guardian stuff. All these women are really close in his life. She's like, hey, you're out. I'm in. Let's do this. And then the chandelier falls on the bride and kills her. So, of course, these 3 women are suspects. I think this maybe had a Big Little Lies like reference, whatever, blurb. So sounds interesting. Then we have The Night Librarian by Christopher Lincoln. So this is a not a graphic novel, a middle grade. Maybe it is a graphic novel. I don't know. I think it's a middle grade graphic novel about 2 siblings, a mysterious night librarian, and characters from books trying to save the New York Public Library. Sounds great. Then we have Pink Glass Houses by Asha Elias. This is about Miami Beach Elementary School and all the wealthy PTA mama drama. I am here for it. Then we have Name Your Price by Holly James. So this one I'm really cautious about because it may be super steamy. I'm not sure. But this is about broke exes that get locked in a house together, kind of Big Brother style. They have to live there for 30 days. And if they do live there together, they get $1 million each. Now, they have a very passionate relationship in the fact that their fights are really big, their love is really big, all that kind of stuff is really big. And there's certain rules. They can't touch each other. They have to share a bed, all these kind of things. And if they don't, they start losing money. So we'll see. Then The Days I Loved You Most by Amy Neff. This one sounds like a heartbreaker. So this is about an older couple who, it's like present day. They've been together since the 40s, and she has a terminal disease. And so they call their 3 kids together, and they're like, hey, mom's got this terminal illness and I can't live without her. So in 1 year, we're going to end our lives together. And they, then I think the book is following their life from like World War II up to present day and all the things they've been through together. Sounds like a tearjerker. Then we have 18 Roses by Shannon C.F. Rogers. So this is about a Filipino girl who is about to turn 18, and her mom wants to have like a big debutante ball for her. She's not about that. Like, she's not really into it, but she really wants to please her mom and her grandma and everybody that's coming into town for it. And so she has to find 18 friends. And so will she be able to do it? What will she do? How far out of her comfort zone will she go to please her family? We'll see. Then we have The Wedding People by Allison Espach, maybe. This is about a woman who gets mistaken for a wedding guest at a wedding. She's not. And she like bonds with the bride. And it just sounds cute. It says, a look at the winding paths we can take to the places we never imagined. So just kind of those happenstance things, how they happen and change our lives. I like reading about that. Then we have The Prince's Mind by J.C. Lee. Another one that I'm a little skeptical about because of the steam level. But this one is about a Korean chef who meets a professor who's a prince in disguise. So her godmother or something makes her go on a bunch of like first dates, and he is trying to find a bride that he actually loves before he has to get in this arranged marriage. So it's their relationship. I like foodie books, and so I'm hoping this one's cute, but it might be a little much. Then we have Such Charming Liars by Karen N. McManus. So I just read One of Us is Lying recently, and I really liked it, and I'm really intrigued. This is about mother-daughter jewel thieves. Sounds interesting. Then we have Never Date a Roommate by Paula Otoni, maybe. This is a Brazilian author, and it's her English language debut. So it sounds like I'm interested just for that reason. But this is about a girl who wants to get a job in Denmark, but her boss is like, no, I want to give this promotion to somebody who lives in Denmark. So she meets this guy and is like, hey, can we be roommates and fake date? And he's like, no, I've been burned before by dating a roommate. But I think he reluctantly agrees. And they, of course, it's fake dating turned real dating. So those are all the books. We made it. If you guys made it through this entire video, you guys are awesome. Let me know what you are excited about. Let me know if any of these are exciting for you. And thank you so much for watching. Let me know too. In June, I split it up into 2 videos. Let me know if you like that better. I don't know if I'm going to dig this deep in every month because these videos are obviously really long to film and edit and watch. So let me know though, if I do you want it in 2 videos or 1 long video like this? You guys let me know. I'm good with whatever. So thank you so much for watching. We'll see you in the next one.